a great team behind him.
Oh, absolutely. And Ryan, as much as, everybody gives him slack because, look, he's social media. That's something he's doing on the side, which he's doing tremendously. But when it comes to the gym, he learns fast, and he is very dedicated to the gym.
But that's got to be killing him, though, right?
And then we have
that's got to be killing him, though. I mean, Ernie, help me out here. I mean, social media, it can backfire on you in a heartbeat. Is this not backfiring on him and how he's being so vocal about his disgruntled against Golden Boy? I mean, taking a jab at your boss, that's not a good look, is it? Am I wrong?
I think we all learn from mistakes. I really do. Yep. I think we all learn from mistakes, and he is young.
But he's done it like 3 times, though, Robert. I mean, you would say, okay, first time around, like, hey, listen, we're all parents here. If my son walked up to a barbecue pit that I have on, and I said, hey, don't touch the pit, mijo, it's hot, and he touches it, that's the first time he learns. But this is the third time, I think, coming along with Ryan Garcia. I mean, when do we stop saying, okay, we got to give him a pass because he's a young kid? Go ahead,
Dave. Let me ask you this: if your son gets mad at you for not giving, for not getting the pair of Jordans that he had asked for, he gets mad at you. He gets mad. He gets over it. And again, you don't do something quite the way he wanted you to do it. He gets mad at you and gets over it. We have to understand, Ryan Garcia is a young man. He's got a lot of success kind of just thrown upon him. He kind of hit that right, stride where he got very popular very quickly, and to the point now where he's a crossover star to where boxing, is his trade, but his popularity is clearly in the Instagram world, and I think he's trying to bridge that gap between what social media influence he has versus the old school kind of, hey, let's build a champion kind of thing. He's trying to maybe he's trying to mesh the two, and he's having some growing pains out of it. I mean, it's not out of the question to where
I hear what you're saying.
He sees himself
right
as a crossover star, and he just wants to be able to translate it into the screen, into the ring. But when you present him with facts and you present him with ratings and understanding where his place is in the boxing world, then you have to kind of come to this compromise and this common ground to where all sides are happy. And I think that's where he's trying to understand his worth.
Look, what I've told some of the people that have asked me, I said, look, for a couple, whether you're married or your girlfriend, if you're together long enough, there's going to be an argument. There's going to be a day where I'm not talking to you. There's going to be, but at the end of the day, you're still married. You move on. You move forward. They say in Spanish, hasta en las mejores familias, even in the best families, there's disagreement. So
yes,
it's part of the growing pains, but it's also has a lot to do, and I'm not just saying in Ryan's case, in a lot of our fighters' cases, with some people, like, how do I put it? Some people send messages to them to cause this type of friction, and sometimes they use the media. Some of these reporters go in there with an agenda and already start instigating stuff. And I know of a couple of our guys already say, hey, that's not what I said, Robert. And I said, take the note down, remember who it was, and next time they come looking for you, remind them, because it happens all the time. It happened to me when I was with Barrera. We did interviews, and it was like, hey, that's not what we said. But that's what
now it's worse than ever. I mean, we're in the clickbait generation.
Exactly.
Anything to get clicks.
Exactly. And now with social media added, we were talking about earlier, so many fans that are either the fighters fans or because they're not boxing fans. Right now we're seeing that more, that they're not even boxing fans. They're that fighter fan or that network fan. And all they're doing is like egging them on. Hey, yeah, man, you deserve more. Yeah, you're the – it's like, slow down. It's a process.
Right.
You guys, when Canelo first stepped into the U.S. and fought at Morongo Casino against Larry Mosley, he made very little money, but he understood it's a process. Even when he fought Valdemir, it wasn't millions. I mean, so
but he understood the model, though. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, and this is not just Ryan Garcia. You know, I hope I'm not. I am bagging on the kid, but I think I'm bagging on anybody of this new generation, because I feel like, you know what, you guys, like, these guys are trying to change a model that's worked. Like, okay, yeah, the other shit in boxing needs to be changed, but building up a star, building up your audience, and us yearning to want to see you, why are you guys trying to change that? You should fight. The money's going to be there. We're going to be there, especially when it comes to raza. We're going to be there. Like, we are the ones.
And you're absolutely right. There is a process. For instance, when they're amateur kids ready to go pro or dreaming one day of going pro, what's the only thing on their mind at that time? I want to go pro because I want to be a world champion, because I want to be a positive role model for other kids, because I want to be in the Hall of Fame. I want to be remembered to be great. Okay. Once they go pro, it doesn't change overnight. It's once they start making noise that all of a sudden they have so many experts coming to them and say, oh, you should do this. You need me for this. I can do this for you. I can do that for you. I'll get you more. That's when they're there. Now, it all comes with the territory. In order to get there and make more money, you gotta basically put them on TV, promote them properly. He has to do his job in the ring, and then the networks are going to be calling you saying, what is it? You might even have a war between networks because everybody wants a piece of whoever this fighter is. I'm just giving the overall just an example.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where you have the leverage now. You've done your job. Now, there's so many world champions today that nobody knows who they are. Even us in boxing sometimes don't know why. They're fighting once a year. How do you expect them to be popular? Now, okay, they're being told, what, you don't have to fight 3 times. Just fight once, and you're going to make what they make in 3. Okay? That's a good way of putting it. However, because they've been out, the rust sets in, and then they go lose. And then nobody's going to remember them because nobody ever saw them. When they fight often and win, continue winning, people know them. People still know them in the street. You know, I think it was one time Hearn did say this, if they walked down the street, people knew who Joshua was and didn't know who Deontay was.
I remember that.
In the U.S., everybody was going to know who Deontay was. In the UK, they're huge boxing fans. They would have known who Deontay was. So it's just the example was proper, but it wasn't proper with the fighter he was talking about. You know,
I think to be fair though, Robert, to be fair now, everybody knows who his costume that he was wearing on the rematch is more known than him at this moment, man. Guys, I got to wrap this up. It was great. But I just got to point this out, and I think that I got to say this really quick. Robert, if I was you, I would sit down, and Ernie, this is for you too. I would sit down Ryan Garcia. This is what I would say to them, okay? Being, that we, all 3 of us probably could have kids his age. We probably do. I do have kids his age. I would sit them down and say, listen, mijo, we're going to make you a TikTok champion belt. Just fight Linares or fight Campbell. Do whatever it is. You're going to have, we're going to make you special gloves that say Instagram champion, and then it can be made. We're done. We're happy. Everybody's happy. We all can hug at the end of the day when they step into the ring and make that fight happen for us, right?
How about this? He's going to have, by the end of his next fight, he will have a WBC part of that world title because he will knock out Luke Campbell.
Oh, yep. I want to see it. I want to see it. Ernie, what do you say?
I think that nothing changes. I mean, par for the course. I expect great things out of Ryan Garcia. I believed in that since before his Golden Boy days, and nothing's changed that. Like I said, I do think he just needs to kind of understand where he is and how we can get it focused, and so we can start going out for one of many belts. I mean, I do believe he beat Campbell. I think he's, of the guys that they're talking about at lightweight, he's very right up there. I mean, if not the best. You know, it's scary good how he can. It's scary how good he can be, considering he's only had 8 or 9 rounds under Eddie Reynoso as far as a professional fight. You know, there's still nuances he's got to be made, and he's such a quick learner. I'd venture to say he can end up being the complete package as far as a fighter's concerned. You know, and guys,
I hope,
and I'm excited.
Something real important that, you know, it's a message to promoters, to fighters. Look, that it's beautiful. Very, very few, very selected fighters have been able to do that, but it's not the most important thing in the world. You know what? Muhammad Ali, that's my hero. I mean, Leonard, Duran, Hagler, Hearns, they all lost fights. Oscar, but people still remember them for the great fights they gave. So, lesson learned, fighters can lose and get better.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
To the promoters, let's put your best against our best. Everybody work together. And at the end of the day, boxing wins, the fans win, and the fighters win. There's going to be promoters that today I lose a fight, they lose a fight, and you know what? That's okay. It's not baseball. We're not keeping score. Let's just put the best against the best.
That's what it comes down to, man.
I think Ronnie Rios is a better fighter now than when he was undefeated.
Yes. No, I have to agree with you.
I always go back to telling fighters that. I said, Jorge Linares, you would beat the undefeated fighter. The one today would beat the undefeated fighter of, you know, and the same thing, I agree 100%. The Ronnie Rios today is mentally focused, strong. I mean, he lives, sleeps, and breathes boxing now because they mature. It gets to the point where I'm not doing enough, doing what I'm doing. I have to do more, and then the hunger gets in.
I got to tell you guys this. If Ryan Garcia fights Campbell, I think that's a great fight, first off. I think that's by far the toughest fight for him. I think that myself and my co-host, Amilcar, we were picking Campbell to win that fight if it happens. But I'm not writing this kid off. I think this kid could be something. I think where we stand, or I stand, and a lot of fight fans stand, is we're frustrated because we're not seeing these fights kind of, you know, fruition and stuff. You know, Jorge Linares, phenomenal fighter. Want to keep seeing him. Amilcar, you got anything else to add before I let the guys go? Go for it.
No, for me, the Campbell prediction is strictly based on amateur pedigree and a gold medalist, and you know the fact that he only lost to 2 elite level fighters in Linares and Lomachenko. But no, I just want to thank both of you for coming on, spending so much time with us here on the show, and we hope to have you again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And you are absolutely right. I mean, to date, Luke Campbell does present to be the toughest test, but that's the part of where we, and I'm not going to say just, you know, against everybody else, no, but we do stand a little bit apart from everybody else. Is our fights are, I mean, at a younger age, they're tested sooner, but that's okay because that's where you find out and the fighter learns from themselves. Look at Joshua Franco. If he didn't have those 3 fights with Negrete, I mean, we wouldn't have been so confident in winning the world title. We were very confident. Obviously, anything can happen once in the ring. You got to respect an undefeated world champion, but we were very confident as a team in whole because of what we saw in those.
It's crazy. Is it me or is it crazy when you see fans shit on you guys when you decide to make good fights? When you, like, as a matchmaker, you go like, this is a really tough fight, but you know I'm going to make it happen. And then the guy that people think is going to win doesn't win because they got matched with somebody equal. Does that ever blow your mind on Twitter when people are going like, yeah, they're golden boy, look what they did. They suck. They don't know how to match guys. I mean, do we want mismatches or do we want competitive matches?
You hit it right on because you get that all the time. The fans complaining, for instance, right now, a good example. Boxing's really the only sport going on right now. So for us boxing fans, we should be very happy. Yet you see them, these fights suck. Right now it's very hard to make a fight in general because the pool's smaller, the borders are closed, so many rigorous trainings. Heart goes out to Jamel Herring and obviously our guy Oquendo. The fight fell out.
Right.
To Herring, I wish him all the best. He's a great, great champion, a great role model for all these young kids and a great person. So my heart out to him and hope, things get better soon. But they're never happy. Boxing fans are very, very different than any other sport. If the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl, and that's my team, I never would have gone back and said, yeah, but this 49er team wouldn't have beaten the team from the 80s. We don't do that in other sports. But in boxing, let's just say Canelo knocks out Golovkin. Yeah, but he wouldn't have knocked out Marvin Hagler. Well, guess what? He's not fighting Hagler. So They're never happy. If you don't like what you have on the tune, change the channel. Go to YouTube. Watch old fights. But let the other people enjoy it. So, yes, when I put them in tough, the first thing I hear is, they're trying to get rid of him. Why am I trying to get rid of him? They're just putting him tough to get beat. If he loses, bad matchmaking. If he wins, they don't give credit of like, oh, wow, they took a risk and look, it paid off. You know what? I get to the point where it's like, just do your thing, make sure the teams are happy, the fighters are happy, and that some people enjoy the fight after. But my goal is always, let's put on some fights. Let's put on some real stuff. There's a building process, and then there's time to step it up.